So welcome everyone again. My name is Adrienne Teague. I'm the Executive Director of Alumni Engagement here at Mary Baldwin University. I've just celebrated my 1-year anniversary at MBU, and I'm so thrilled to be here and so excited to be hosting our second and final of our Fall Virtual Connection series tonight. We are pleased to have this series that has really helped us bring lifelong learning to life in a virtual way this year when we have so needed these connectivity touch points and things to entertain us during our time during this pandemic. I am also grateful for our staff in the Office of Alumni Engagement. We have Amy Davenport, who's joining us tonight. She is our Director of Stewardship and Donor Engagement, and Ann Holland, who is our Director of Special Projects. And so together we have been working to work with our alumni volunteers to bring this virtual programming to you and to our over 17,000 living alumni around the world. So if you have missed any of our opportunities to engage with us through our virtual connection series or any of our webinars or other programs that we've done since April, you can find all of those programs and recordings online at our new alumni website, which is alumni.marybaldwin.edu. So we encourage you to head over there after tonight's session and check it out. So again, this session is being recorded. If you're watching this and you have any questions about the recording, we just ask that you contact us at alumni.marybaldwin.edu. And again, for those who need to expand the presenter screen, you can choose that in the upper right-hand corner of your screen to toggle between the gallery view and the speaker view, which will enhance the person who is chatting in a larger screen. So again, if you need technical support tonight, please direct message Amy Davenport, and she'll be more than happy to assist you. You can also use our chat room at the end of tonight's session. So we'll be facilitating Q&A after the presentation, and we will be taking questions for Dr. Robertson and the students in the choir by submitting a question via chat, or you can click on the participants panel to see who is here. And there's also an option where you can raise your hand. So you're welcome to ask those questions at the end of tonight's presentation by turning back on your video and your microphone feed. And so before we get started and I introduce Dr. Robertson, I do want to just share with you all some great things that we have coming up here in the Office of Alumni Engagement, just in case you would like to join us a little bit later on. So again, this is closing out our Fall Connection series. We welcome our alumni. And we would love for you to continue to join us as we move into December as we launch a virtual holiday series. And so we will be doing these by our alumni regions and networks. And so we'll start on December the 8th and have 3 going, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then we'll be the following week in Richmond and in Stanton. And I encourage you that if you're joining us from an area in our nation or globally that is not represented on this list, pick one of these dates that works best for you, and please come and connect with us. All are welcome, and we would love to have you join us as we celebrate the holiday season virtually in this 2020 year. And finally, just wanted to encourage everyone, if you have not checked out the new alumni website that launched in early October, we recommend that you head over there. For those of you who have always wondered how you can connect with your fellow alumni, there's a great online directory tool. All you have to do is register in the new site. We will provide you with permission, and you can use that searchable online directory to find and connect with your classmates, as well as find all of our events and programs, all of our virtual recordings from previous sessions, and so many other resources. And so we thank our Alumni Communications Committee for being an integral part of our volunteer force that has helped create this particular site as an engaging tool for all of our alumni worldwide. And so without further ado, I would now like to turn our fabulous attention over, and I'll just ask briefly if your video is on, if you don't mind just turning that off so that our students and Dr. Robertson are our featured guest tonight. That would be wonderful. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you tonight's presenters, Dr. Craig Robertson and our students from the Mary Baldwin University Choir. Dr. Robertson is an assistant professor of music and choral director here at Mary Baldwin. He conducts all of the choral ensembles while facilitating conducting and music education courses as well. Dr. Robertson has over 12 years of experience as an elementary, middle, and high school choral music educator in Florida and Georgia, and now in Virginia. He received a Doctor of Musical Arts in Choral Conducting and Literature from the University of Colorado in Boulder, and obtained a Bachelor of Music in Choral Music Education from Virginia State University, and a Master of Music Education from Georgia State University. Dr. Robertson currently serves as the Western Regional Coordinator for Virginia chapter of the American Choral Directors Association and is on the State Officers Board. He is the current conductor of the Stanton Choral Society and is an active member of the NAFME and the ACDA, and is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And again, our students are going to introduce themselves tonight, but we are so very glad and grateful that they are joining us right as they're ending out their semester to share with us the student perspective of what it means to be a Mary Baldwin University choir member. And over the past year, the MBU Choir has performed at all of Mary Baldwin University's open houses, the International Day of Peace, Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, in collaboration with faculty, staff, community members, and the Virginia School of the Deaf and Blind. They have participated in our tree lighting ceremonies, our Founders Day, and also sang at Stanton Alumni Association meetings. So they are also invited as guest performers for a visiting delegation from the municipality of Choir, Skopje in North Macedonia. And I probably butchered that name, so please don't hold me to that. I will go get better lessons later, and Dr. Robertson will correct whatever I've messed up. But they were invited to come and with the delegation of North Macedonia as part of an exchange between the municipality of the city of Stanton at Stanton City Hall. The choir took over 55 students on a multi-day recruitment trip to Richmond, Virginia, where they performed at 3 high schools, the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, and presented a public concert at First Mennonite Church in Richmond. The choir was also invited to present a performance at New York's famed Carnegie Hall in spring of 2021. And we are just devastated for them that they didn't get to do that due to the COVID pandemic. But our students and Dr. Robertson are going to share with you all of these wonderful, engaging experiences that they have had since his arrival as our latest choral conductor. And I hope that you all will join me in sending a very warm welcome to Dr. Robertson and all of our students as they bring a year in the life of being a Mary Baldwin choir to us tonight through this Fall Virtual Connection series. Craig, I will turn it over to you. Thank you so very much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and we welcome you to tonight's event. I am very excited to be here with you. It's my first time engaging with so many beautiful faces, alum from here at Mary Baldwin University. This is my second year, and so I'm a little nervous, so please forgive me if I'm a little talking fast or a little shaky. But again, I am the director of choirs here at Mary Baldwin, and we have had such a phenomenal first year last year. I tell you, the choir has performed gracefully and beautifully throughout last year, and I am so extremely proud of each one of them. So at this time, I would like for each of them to introduce themselves. They're going to give us their names, where they're from, their hometown, and their major, and what year they are here at Mary Baldwin. We'll start with Terry Bates.
Hi, my name is Terry Bates, and I am a freshman here at Mary Baldwin. I am currently studying criminal justice with a minor in music.
And where are you from?
Oh, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Grzybowski. I am a junior here at Mary Baldwin, and I am majoring in performing arts with an emphasis in theater, with minors in math and music. And I just moved to Massachusetts from a small town in Florida.
Anthony.
My name is Anthony Blewett. I am a sophomore here at Mary Baldwin, and I am from Triangle, Virginia, and I'm actually interested in music education.
And Logan.
Hello, my name is Logan Davenport. I was homeborn here in Stanton, Virginia. and my major is vocal performance and a minor in music education.
Great. So here at Mary Baldwin, as you all know, that we offer a music performance degree and music minor. So a lot of our students are double majoring in business or music or psychology. Those students who are interested in being music educators, they'll major in music, bachelor's of music, but they also do the music minor, or they will do double major with music and education. So, and I also supervise all of the music students who are music ed majors. So we're very excited about that. So we're going to jump right into our presentation. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm making sure that everything is together here. Great. So again, we are the Mary Baldwin University Choir. We're so excited. So here at Mary Baldwin, we have 3 ensembles that we are focusing on this year. The Mary Baldwin University Choir is open to any MBU student here at our university without having to audition. They do a voice part check where I listen to them sing so that I can place them in the right section. Our next ensemble that I just started this year is the Baldwin Singers. It is our advanced group per se, and these students are the most serious about music. A lot of them are music majors or music minors who have a desire to perform upper level music. They are the students that we call upon for those spur of the moment engagements. And it's a smaller group. We started it last year just as a trial run, and it became an official ensemble this year. And we're very, very proud of them. Our other group, Baldwin Charm, as you know, is an auditioned ensemble. It is our a cappella pop group. And from freshmen to seniors, Logan Davenport is our music director, and Emily Grzybowski is one of our soloists for that group as well. Those students come together and they arrange pop songs, R&B songs, country songs, it doesn't matter. They put things together and make them their own, and it's fabulous to see them work. So at the beginning of every year, well, I should say at the beginning of my year, last year, we started to do a choir retreat. This allows students to come together to get to know each other. My philosophy is if you know each other, you will probably sing better because you will know each other. You're in relationship, you're in community and in fellowship one with another. And we decided to break out into families. So students were, they were family leaders. I think Logan was a family leader, and he has students that he's kind of checking on every now and then. If they have any questions about choir or even about happenings around the university, that they could ask their family leader. So here are students here from our school last year. We lost our assistant. He went on to Boulder to study vocal performance, Eli English in our picture here. I'm pointing at the screen as if you can see that. So I'm gonna use the mouse. How about that? And then Mrs. Lovelace was our accompanist, and she moved to South Dakota. So you recognize this building, I'm sure. The Student Activity Center is where we had that event, and it was a wonderful time of getting to know each other. We had pizza and salad and gluten-free pizza, and we had a fabulous time, and I was very happy to spend that time with them. Very sad that we weren't able to do that this year. So we want to share with you some of our performances that we've had throughout last year. Our very first performance was on Page Terrace. We were invited to be the guest performers for International Day of Peace. And after that seemingly long 1 minute of silence, we began to sing this piece. And hopefully this will work. Oh, nope, sorry. Click. Here we go. awesome. The students were so very proud of being able to participate in this event, and as I was as well. And this was the very first time, this was our debut as the 2019-2020 Mary Baldwin Choir, and I was very, very proud of them. They learned this piece through a methodology that we call solfege. So they would use, in order to read the notes, they would use Kodai, the Kodai method to do that. And it was very wonderful. I want to stop and say that on day one of 2019, do you guys remember day one, choir 2019? That was very magical. We ended up with 70 choir members that showed up that day. We ran out of chairs, we ran out of music, we ran out of air. It was so warm in there because there's so many people in that room. And I think majority of them stayed for the next semester. So we were very happy to know that choir was gaining popularity on campus. So here's another piece. I don't know if you can see me moving people around on my screen. Can you see that? That's crazy. Good, thank you. Here's another piece that we learned for our choir tour, our choir trip to Richmond. I hope that you enjoyed. It's entitled "The Word Was God" by Robertson Powell. Oh, I'm still learning to tap it lightly.
In the beginning was the same, was the end of the living of God, and the Word was in, and the beginning was in, and was the same, was the end of the living of God, and the same was in, and the beginning was the same, was the end of the living of God, and the same was in, and the beginning was the same, was the end of the living of God, and the Word was God. All things were made. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word was the Word, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, in the beginning was the Word, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
So we're very, very proud of our performance that night. It was a chilly, chilly night in February. So I want to pause here and talk a little and let the students share their experience with learning this song and how what they did in order to be successful at participating in this particular piece. So who would like to go first? Not Tony, I'm sorry, Logan's gonna go first. What?
Cool. Sorry, it wouldn't let me unmute myself. Hi. So this piece, "The Word Was with God," the Word was God, was real fun to do. I remember that it was a little difficult, and a couple of us boys in my section, I was the tenor section leader, we would actually go to the piano after class sometimes, and we would just practice there. And we'd take the basses along with us, and we'd have to make sure to count in our sections because it's very rhythmic, and we'd have to keep track of what everything else is going on. So it was very, very fun to work on this piece with you, and I'm very glad that you chose this piece.
Well, thank you. Does anyone want to share?
I think learning this piece was incredibly fun because it was almost more interesting. Granta's piece, learning it using solfege, it was almost more fun to practice this piece using the rote method and kind of learning it by ear. especially because in the context of the piece, with it being the Word was God, that word contextually, the Bible originally was a story that would be passed down orally, and so to kind of connect that with the text and with, you know, this, we didn't rely too much on the music, we relied on ourselves and teaching each other the parts and singing it to each other.
Wow, Tony, that was pretty good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, right. Emily, did you want to say anything, or you?
I was just gonna say that for me, it was actually kind of hard to learn this song because of all the overlapping parts, and that confused me because I'm fairly new to singing in a choir. I started like the semester before Dr. Robertson got here, so I'm still very new to choir. So I just had to like make sure that while I was listening to the other sections, I had to focus more on my own part. But yeah.
Okay, good. So, and that's a great segue into talking about the different skill levels of the students in the Mary Baldwin Choir. You have students that were all-state students like Tony, Anthony here. You have students who are brand new to the experience like Emily. And you have students that like Logan that have done theater and music most of his life. So trying to find a balance of how far to push and you know, this push and pull in class, what pieces of music will be successful for students of diverse backgrounds. So I think what Emily is talking about is that we depend on each other to help learn music, to help us with our balance and with our blend. We have section leaders in the choir. Tony was, sorry, it says Anthony on his thing, but I call him Tony. Tony was a section leader for the basses, so he was able to help the guys in his section. And yeah, so we look at choir as a family, as a community, that we help each other. It's not just one for all, you know, by yourself. You're helping each other. That is the only way that we're going to make it. I think that is a great life skill to emphasize to our students, that you're not in this world by yourself, and you don't have to solely depend on yourself, that there are others out there who are just as skilled, if not more, that will assist you if you ask for the help. Is that something I say all the time? You're never alone, and if you can get help if you ask for it. I think that is my charge to the students, that I don't go looking for you. You come looking for me. You come and ask for the help, and you will get it. That lets me know that you're very serious about getting that help, right? Good, so let's go on to the next slide. So as Ms. Teague, Adrienne, I don't know what she wants me to call her, told us in our little bio, that we participated in the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration at First Presbyterian Church. And it was a monumental task. And I decided that we wanted to make the music portion of this event a community event. So we had students, our students, we had faculty and staff to join us with the choir. We had community members who are members of local churches and local community choirs to join us. And we also incorporated the School for the Deaf and the Blind down the street from our university. So one day after one of our rehearsals, we drove over to the School for the Deaf and the Blind to work with those students. We were singing a gospel piece for this event entitled Total Praise. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard it, by Richard Smallwood from Washington, D.C. And we decided we were going to go over there and help them. They were learning music using Braille, which was amazing. I think some of us were quite intimidated by that. We don't know how to read music in Braille. So they had a leg up on us for that. So I wanted to infuse our choir with the singers from the Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind. And we have a little clip from a rehearsal, and you'll see that these students are so excited to have us there. So hopefully this will click. Right. Yay! And go! I lift my hands in total praise to you. Here we go. Alto, I lift and go. I lift my hands in total the students there, they all have a choir there that they sing mostly with using Braille if they're learning to read music or they learn by rote. And so there were several students who are not singing with the choir, but they're playing instruments. And there's a young man over there who is mostly blind, visually impaired, and he plays by ear, by rote, and that's who you heard on the piano. So we were able to, in First Presbyterian, was to put two grand pianos in the church so that he could play along with the other accompanists. And it was an amazing experience. I don't know if there was a dry eye in the place. So I know that I was quite emotional watching this collaboration. I think Emily and I were probably just weeping that day. Tony, you were crying too? Yeah, Logan, I don't know if you were crying. Were you crying? No, yeah, you were, okay, we'll say yeah. So we wanted to continue that partnership, but due to COVID, we were not able to meet them this time, but it was a fabulous experience. So is that all I want to say about the MLK celebration? Does anybody want to share about that experience? That was quite an experience. No? Oh, go ahead, Logan.
I just wanted to say, if you have not heard Dr. Craig Robertson sing gospel, let me tell you, this man has the voice of an angel. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. You've earned your A. Thank you. So we present several performances throughout the year, and at the first performance was the International Day of Peace, and then of course our large performance at First Presbyterian is our fall concerts that is held in December of 2019. And here is a piece that I selected for the students for several reasons. One, because I wanted to expose our students to composers, African-American composers, who has written pieces that were not spirituals. Most time when you have a Black composer, you think about gospel or spirituals or jazz or whatever, but I wanted to expose them to an African-American male composer who was a friend of mine, and he used the Sarah Teasdale text and set this text, and it's called A Stars I Shall Find. I would like for one of our students to tell us a little bit about this piece and the experience of learning it and what it meant to them. Logan is going to go first, and then we'll have Tony. Well, let Tony go first, then we'll come back to Logan.
With the Sarah Teasdale text specifically, it was a very beautiful text. Initially, upon the first time we were introduced to it, we didn't actually know the true meaning of the text, and it was actually Sarah Teasdale's one of her final writings before she ended her own life. So it kind of acts as a suicide note, and it really paints this piece in a very, very moving and almost oddly comforting light. If you listen to the words, it talks about kind of creating a world of my own devising, and so hoping for a better future going forward. And it's incredibly, incredibly moving and beautiful.
Yes. Go ahead, Logan, and then we're going to play the clip.
I think Tony covered it very perfectly. This piece did hold a special place in our heart. Its beautiful lyricism and its melodies very much moved us. And it really painted beauty in death, I would like to say. So that's really all I could really attribute to what Tony has said.
Emily, did you have anything you want to share?
I was just gonna say that, like, before I knew what the text meant, I couldn't quite sing it the way that it was meant to be. And I think just knowing in depth, like, what the lyrics and stuff meant really helped paint the oddly comforting images that we get.
Yeah, so the texts are, there will be rest and sure stars shining upon the rooftop crowned with snow. And one of my favorite portions when she says, I will make this world of my devising out of a dream in my lonely heart. I will find the crystal of peace above me. above me stars I shall find. So she was preparing herself for the afterlife. Sarah Teasdale, most of you probably already know this with your liberal arts education, and just because you're educated folks, you know that Sarah Teasdale's life was just riddled with hardship and trials. She was surrounded by death. She was a sickly child, so she's spent a lot of time alone. One of her friends committed suicide, and she ended up ending her own life. But she lived how she wanted to live, and she ended her life how she wanted it to end. So I think that students, and I shared this with our students. Actually, I did not share this. I shared another thing. The idea of Sarah Teasdale and her life and her legacy was lectured to us by one of our graduate students who's in the choir. And she's was working on a thesis and a paper about Sarah Teasdale. So she was able to bring to light a lot more than we ever could have imagined. So I wanted the students to relate to this piece. I know that in college, statistically, the college students, it's a high suicide rate. So I wanted our students to relate to feeling those low moments, but also knowing that you're not alone in feeling that way, and that we came together and can help each other, come together to help each other. I will tell you, one of my favorite pieces that we performed last year, and I think when this performance was pretty awesome. Hope that you enjoy it. Oh, well, let's go back to the thing. Let's wait till it gives me here we go. I want to rewind it back, if you don't mind. Go back here, go back there. Okay. Great. So, yes, it's lovely. Most of the pieces that from that performance in the fall is on our YouTube channel. So you can YouTube Mary Baldwin University Choir, and you can hear, I think all of the songs that we performed that year are on here, or for this particular performance. Here is our choir trip, 2020. Yeah, I'm like, wait, it's 2020, because it was February 2020. Normally the choir goes on a tour, but this year we decided to do a trip to Richmond, and specifically for recruitment. And this is going to give Terry an opportunity to share a little bit. So here you see we were rehearsing in the church right here before the performance. This is at the performance. And I scheduled 4 high schools for us to perform at, to recruit from. I think we traveled to 3. And we left on a Thursday. We did Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 2 schools on Thursday. Is that correct? And I think we did another school on Friday. And it was actually one of the schools, we stopped at Huguenot High School And I was, let me go back, I was asked to be the Richmond City Honor Choir conductor. And so they brought all of those students from those different schools to Huguenot in order to hear our performance. So I guess we performed for more than 3 high schools in that case. So there were a lot of students in that auditorium, as you can see right here. This was at one of those performances. And some of our students who attended a couple of high schools in Richmond, they were able to see their old teachers and principals and chat with them. So we did 3 high schools, and on Friday, there was a ice storm in Prince George County. So that school closed. So we were not able to go to Prince George High School, which is where I graduated high school from. So we ended up trying to find, where can we go to perform? What can we do to, until our performance Friday night. And we ended up at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. And we all had on our polo shirts and our black pants, and someone saw us. We did not go there to perform. They saw us and they said, "Oh, there's a great performance space right up there." And I started texting all the students like, "Okay, meet me back here at such and such a time, and we're gonna do this quick performance over here." And you see the picture here is the end result of that. And one of the alum from Mary Baldwin graduates were in the audience. I did not get a chance to catch her name, but I do know that she was in the audience. And we started singing, and people just started coming in to where we were, just gathering around. It was very, very moving and very magical. You would have thought that it was planned, that we were the invited guests. I thought we were going to get in trouble for like just usurping this performance venue. Just jumped up there and started singing. And it was fabulous, 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 fabulous. The students enjoyed it. We were invited back. So I guess it was a pretty good experience. So at Henrico High, we were there to speak to several students to recruit, and one of the parents invited us there. We traveled there, and Henrico High has, I think Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a regular public school and then a performing arts portion, right?
Yes.
And so when we got to Henrico, we thought we were performing just to all of the students, but we were only with the musical theater students. And while we had our students talking with the musical theater students there, they told me that, oh, well, the choir, Henrico High's choir, is over in this other side of the building. So Dr. Ann Wick and I ran over to the choir room and to meet some of the students, and that's where we met Terry. And Terry, I think your choir was in a keyboard lab that day. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So tell us what happened, Terry.
Okay, so that day I can't remember what piece we were doing. It was so long ago, but we were learning how to play the piece on the piano. And
was it Set Me as a Seal?
Yes, that's what we were, Set Me as a Seal. And we were learning to play the beginning portion on the piano. And I had seen Dr. Robertson come in, and my teacher, he was like, "Oh, we can get some feedback, to see how we sound," because we had been working on this piece for so long, and it was a very hard, personally for me, it was very hard to learn, especially my part, because I'm a soprano. And Dr. Robertson and Dr. Wick had came in and helped my section, because my section specifically had sung for him. And he had pulled me aside, and my teacher was gloating. He was like, this is Terry, meet Dr. Robertson, and so on. And he had eventually ended up giving me his card. Mind you, I've never heard Mary Baldwin ever. I was not familiar with the school at all. And he had gave me his card and had told me to contact him. And here I am.
So I'm very happy about Terry. She is a talented young lady, and we're so happy to have her. And also, we have another student from Henrico that joined us, and there are 3 other students who where I was in contact with from, I should remember the name of their school, but they were from Richmond, Chesterfield, and they actually are students at Mary Baldwin as well. So I would venture to say that our choir recruitment trip, was a success, because we have students like Terry and Talford and Tyland and Jamil and Anaya. So does anyone want to share about the choir trip and what you experienced, and share away?
I'll kind of jump in. I think kind of the biggest thing for things like a choir trip is it's really important to get an ensemble to go somewhere and to perform, as a group somewhere else than just in their own school, because there is kind of there's like a sense of team building and camaraderie. I mean, any field trip is going to be fun, but than that.
Oh, that was it? Okay. Emily, look, you were going to say something.
I was just thinking about like the difference between before you came and like now, because before we were like performing at retirement homes, but now we were just in a museum and they were like, hey, do you want to sing for us? And like we met an alum, we were going to high schools and actually recruiting people, which is a very different experience.
Logan?
I have a very fond memory of sitting on the bus and calling Tony, actually, and we were all like being very musical on the bus, and we were freestyle rapping, we were singing on the bus, and you even got involved and started singing with us. So we just had a real fun time as musicians and students building these memories, which is very important to the college experience, that you go out, travel, and build memories with your peers. So this was a very fantastic time.
Yes, and one of the alum who is on this Zoom call is Valina Rose, who was a senior last year. She graduated. She's from Richmond, so we were able to meet her family and meet her sister, her twin sister, and who was also in the choir when she was a student here. And I think, Valina, there were other students from your high school that we were able to talk with and chat with that you were trying to recruit to come here. I'm not sure if they came or not, but, and as you can see, this is Valina right here where my mouse is. She's front row singer like me, because we're short. We have to always stand on the front row. So we're very proud of her. She's on here. She private messaged me saying she's singing at home all the songs that we were playing today. So that's awesome. All right. So speaking on that about the choir trip, choir tour, so I would like to, for future purposes, is to create this tradition of the choir going on a recruitment tour and sharing with the world the great things that we're doing here at Mary Baldwin in Stanton. And COVID had ruined a lot of our plans, but that's fine. We can always shelve them for next time. I had planned going to Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina, doing this little East Coast trip so that our students can sing for other high school students and recruit them to come to Mary Baldwin. As Terry mentioned, some students have never heard of Mary Baldwin before, and our choir was their first introduction to this university. And I know that our choral members are wonderful ambassadors of this university. Not only do they sing well, but they sing the praises of our school. They are very kind and passionate, compassionate, sensitive students, and we're very fortunate that they are here. So let's go on to more singing. Here is a piece from our fall concert again, entitled Striving After God. And this is dear to my heart because the composer, does anyone want to jump in and share about the composer? I hope you do.
The composer's your mentor, correct?
No.
Correct, I take that.
Take that back, yeah. The composer is Undine Smith-Ford, and she's from where we currently live, called Virginia.
I'm sorry, did she go to Virginia State?
She worked at Virginia State. Thank you. It's coming back. Cobwebs, we gotta shake it off, dust it out, but it's coming back. So
Put her on
Striving
the
After
brain.
God is composed by Undine Smith Moore, who was a Virginia laureate, music laureate. She's a Virginia native from Jarrett. And not only do I want to expose students to diverse composers as far as ethnicity is concerned, but to also women composers. So this is one of the many female composers that we have introduced students to. She is known as the Dean of African American Female Composers. So every semester, every year, I want to make sure that we do a piece by Undine Smith Moore because she is a Virginia native. And here is Striving After God. I'm going to click this. It's probably going to make me go to another slide. Then I'm going to go back. Yes, and here, funny story about this, and we'll tell it in a minute. I don't think we captured that funny part on here, did we, Emily? Nope. Good. Oh, want to go rewind. Go back. Okay. Sorry. So before we play it, I want to tell you that the text is by Michelangelo. Yeah. True art is made noble and religious by the mind producing it. For God is perfection, and whoever strives after perfection is striving after God. Oh, there we go. So you missed the ending, and it's a little teaser. You can catch it on YouTube to hear the ending of it. So as on our trip to Richmond here, I think this is Huguenot High as well. We invited several students to join us on the stage. I said, "Do you all know Total Praise?" And most students of color know this piece. And so I said, well, why don't you join us on the stage? You know, another recruitment tactic. Already a part of us. Join us on the stage and sing it with us. And they did. And here is a little snippet of that. Excuse the poor singing on my part. So. So thank God that's over. Okay, so thank you, Emily, for that embarrassing moment of putting this in the slideshow. So anyway, those students were very excited, as you see, and we try to do things that are relatable to students in our audience, and not just students, but anyone in our audience. And so that was one of those moments. Let's see. So as mentioned earlier, we performed for the Alumni Association here in Stanton. Amy Davenport invited the choir, and I said, well, I have 70 members in choir. And so they said, well, can you just bring 20? And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's what Baldwin Singers is for, our auditioned ensemble, to make those types of things happen. So they went over and performed. As you can see, here is an alum who actually works on campus, and she still sings with us. She's a music graduate as well. So we're very happy to have her to join us. And so we performed there, and I believe that the Alumni Association raised funds for us for our trip. And to help us to purchase snacks for the students, to purchase dinner, because you know they eat a lot of food when they go places. So we make sure that they have what they need at no expense of the students. Their job is to perform well and to behave. And they did both of those things extremely well. As mentioned earlier, this was a picture, and you recognize this space here. This is Stanton City Hall, where we performed for the delegation from North Macedonia. As Adrian mentioned, I cannot pronounce that name as well. So I want the students to talk to us about this experience. We were invited to perform for this delegation. This is our sister cities in North Macedonia and here in Stanton. And yeah, it was something else. So who would like to share with us about that? We'll start with Emily. I ask you who would like to share, then I call your name. So Emily's gonna go first.
All right. I vividly remember the Stanton City Hall performance because that was like really intense for me, because I was the soloist for Baldwin Charm at this time. And I was just terrified to like sing in front of people in the choir already. But now I was singing for representatives from a whole nother country. But they were like, I remember them dancing, they were like recording, and afterward you told us that they actually, didn't they have like videos or something like up with them? They like posted.
Yeah, they have videos and pictures of us in their city hall.
Yeah.
North Macedonia. So we're kind of North Macedonia famous, you know. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But they really liked the Baldwin like Charm performance, but I also know that they liked the Baldwin Singers performance, which we performed "The Lord Bless You and Keep You," which is a very different tone and like type of music than the song that we did in Baldwin Charm, which was "Girls Like You" by Maroon 5. But they enjoyed both songs, I think, equally, but you could just see it more because of like the pop-esque that we did in Charm.
Logan, as a Stantonite, is that what they call them? I don't know. Stantonian, what do they call them here?
We're Stantonians. The second one was right.
Thank you. We're Stantonians. What did that mean to you to represent your home city, your hometown with in this event?
It was definitely a very big responsibility. I think it was so big that I didn't realize until after the fact that like how important that was. And it was very cool to learn that we have a sister city in not only North Macedonia, but we also have a sister city in Romania. And it was just very cool to experience and enrich ourselves and have them be enriched in our culture and sing and perform for them, and watching the representatives get down when we were singing "Girls Like You." That was just a treat. So it was a good time.
Tony, as a Virginian, you're a native Virginian. So what did that mean to your state as well?
I will say, I mean, the experience in general of singing for any foreign diplomat is kind of an unforgettable one. I mean, it wasn't ever anything that I had done before. But apart from, you know, kind of the humor of seeing how much they enjoyed it, you know, even such, you know, noble and responsible, you know, people like foreign dignitaries, they have to, you know, cut loose every once in a while. And so I'm glad we offered them that opportunity.
Yeah. I think, and it was, we were in the paper behind this. They mentioned us that we were representing Stanton in this event. It was very, very touching. I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity to do so as a first year faculty member at Mary Baldwin, to not just represent Mary Baldwin, but to represent the town of Stanton and do it with these wonderful students. It was a treat. So other activities that we participated in, as Amy and Adrian has alluded to, is our Founders Day. This is Founders Day 2020. Our Founders Day last year was in First Presbyterian Church, which was very moving. Our students participated well. We did a African piece, yeah, with drumming and with a little bit of movement, and I thought it was fabulous. But not taking anything away from Dr. Fox's idea of continuing this tradition of having Founders Day even during a pandemic. Our students, it's so special to me for one reason, you know, because this was the very first time that I was able to wear my regalia. I finished my doctorate in November, and I was supposed to graduate in May with the hooding ceremony, and none of that happened. So this was my very first time wearing it. And I think I look pretty sharp in it, to tell the truth. I don't know, maybe it was. So anyway, so as you see, the students are all socially distanced. They're wearing matching masks that I purchased for them to make sure that we all look the same. And we performed here, what was it, Non Nobis Domine by Rosephine Powell, who is a voice teacher at Auburn University. Some of our singers were not feeling well, or they weren't able to make it. So I had to find others to join us to do it. And here is a freshman that knew the piece, that jumped in to fill in a spot that was missing. And we were very fortunate to have him. Here at the bottom picture are me with several of our impending graduates. You know, those of you that are graduates of Mary Baldwin or attended Mary Baldwin, you know the tradition here at Founders Day. This is the investiture. I say that right. I hope I said it right. The investiture ceremony as well, where our seniors get to don their caps and their gowns this day and take this pledge. And we're very proud of them. We have, I think Shay here is graduating in December. So these are music majors. I think Shay's a music minor, is that correct? So at any rate, they're graduating. There are others that missed the picture and they're very sad about that. So also our choir officers got together and put together our Apple Day celebration. Emily, can you tell us about that? I think you were kind of involved with that.
Yes, I can, and I will. So for Apple Day, we actually set up a karaoke booth because, you know, we're the choir, so we figured we should have some sort of singing. So basically the students could come up to our booth and they could just learn about the choir and about the other two ensembles that we have on campus. Like we would give them a flyer, answer any questions that they had, like give them Dr. Robertson's email so they could contact him if need be. And then we had the karaoke machine so people could just sing what their heart desired within reason. And I very much remember that once like the DJ put on a song and this group of cheerleaders just came running over and they formed a circle so they could all sing socially distanced into the microphone. And it just reminded me that even during these trying times of the pandemic, music is still very important and it helps bring together like people in ways that I wouldn't have thought about before things like this. So.
Mm-hmm. So Emily is our treasurer for choir. And so she was, is this you in the picture right here, Emily, that I'm circling now? Is that you? I can't tell. Yeah, I think it's you. So what was I gonna say? Oh, Logan was at Apple Day, but he was participating in another event because not only are our students in choir singers, but they also are leaders in other organizations. So I think, Emily, are you on the BPB board as well? No, that's not you. That's Hannah. And Logan, tell the our friends, our new friends, what you do, other activities that you participate in.
Well, don't mind if I do, Dr. Robertson. I am the president of the Gamers Guild Club on campus. We, when I came into it 4 years ago, there wasn't really a lot of people in there, and I took the reins of it and built it into what it is today, which is a club that very much facilitates other small groups of people to meet up and make new friends and make connections and just get together and just cut back and play some games, you know? That's what we're really all about. And I think that's a good way to look at how Mary Baldwin connections can be. It's just like I was mentioning earlier about having that good social environment.
Yeah. So we have students in choir who are officers on other in other activities. The BPB board, the Baldwin Planning Board, did I say that correctly? There are other activities on our campus that students participate in. Athletes, Terry, tell us, what do you do? Other things.
Excuse
Sorry,
me?
say it again.
I'm on the track and field team.
Track and field teams, yes. So she's one of our.
Getting.
And Emily is also a PEG student. We failed to mention that program for the exceptionally gifted students. So how old are you, Emily?
I am 17 years old.
And how old were you when you arrived to Mary Baldwin?
15.
15, and this is your third year?
Yes.
Yes. So I did not know that Emily was a PEG because she's so mature. I did not know that, and she is a joy and a pleasure. You would not know that she was not 20. Like she's such a wealth of knowledge, you know. So I lean and depend on Emily. Yes. So I wanted to share with you some rehearsals that we have had over the past couple of months. So here is, go here. Here is a piece entitled, I Should Be Glad. But I'm not gonna play that first. I'm not gonna play that. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna say this first. So since we were not able to do a concert this year because of COVID and the socially distancing and all of these restrictions that we're under, you know, rightfully so, we decided to do a audio and video recording instead, so that we can have content for our YouTube channel and as a recruitment video. So we did the recording, part of the recording last night. So Adrian can get ready to share as I'm talking. One of the pieces that we recorded last night is entitled The Road Home. And Mr. Richard Adams, who is our band director, do I need to stop sharing so you can do that? Sorry. Richard Adams, he's our band director. He's doing the audio engineering. We have film students who are operating the cameras, our video, and we have Dr. Ann Wick, who is our voice area coordinator as a soloist. So this piece it's in audio. It's hot off the press. Just did this yesterday. So this is entitled The Road Home. So which is the take 8, sorry, take 8. unmute myself. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. So that was Dr. Ann Wick. She's a part-time faculty member here, fabulous performer, fabulous teacher, a great, great musician. And we're very, very happy that she was able to join us. So, you know how it is when you listen to performances and you hear the final product? I wanted to share some work in progress, right? So here is a piece by Susan LeBar entitled, oh, yeah, of course, Craig, come on, put it together. Entitled, I Should Be Glad. And our students were rehearsing this, I think, in SAC. I don't know how long we had the piece, not long, I don't believe at this point. And so it's not perfected. So you're gonna hear, hopefully, you're gonna hear the difference between now and later. We'll stop there. It starts to tank a little bit after that, right? So if Adrian can cue up the siren piece, this is another one hot off the press. We just recorded this last night, and this one is take 2 of this piece, I Should Be Glad, by Susan LeBar. And our sound technician says, well, you can hear a little bit of the siren in the background, but I don't really hear it. And I hope that you enjoy this. This is a very lovely piece. And we'll wait for Adrian to, oh, here it is. I Should Be Glad, the second take.
I should be glad. I should be glad. I should be glad. I should be glad.
Thank you for sharing that. So that I should be glad. It's just such a lovely piece, such a lovely piece. And I think the students did a great job with this, even though, although it was just only 2 takes of it. And of course, you know, we're always critical of ourselves, but I think they did a great job. Tony's going to share with us a little bit about how we rehearsed this piece and tell us about the divisi and talking about the blending and all that kind of stuff. And we'll let Logan and Emily chime in as well.
Dr. Robertson kind of, said a little bit, he mentioned divisi. That's kind of one of the biggest challenges of this piece, because in most 4-part choral singing, the parts are singing together, but when you start breaking down those parts individually even further, you're essentially splitting entire sections in half. And so that doubles the, I wouldn't say the pressure, but the accountability of every single member in the choir. And, you know, everybody needs to step their game up to make sure that we all sound good together and blend together. And for a piece like this, where for a large portion of the beginning, the lower voices, like mine, are struggling to kind of stay high up in that D major range, it is very challenging. And so learning that blending and that sound and trusting each other and the people that you're singing with is super, super crucial.
And several things that we work on with that piece, and Emily can attest to this as one of the altos, that always say, well, actually, all of them, is that when we sing the word I, and you can hear that little pop of the glottis, I. Oh, Dr. Robertson doesn't like that, does he? No, we want a sweet attack. So we start the breath and then invite the sound. Instead of saying, I should be glad. And we all start on that D, and then we start to peel off, right? It is an amazing thing. It's very challenging to sing that piece and remain in what? Let's all say it together. In tune, right? Yes. We rehearsed it so many times, and then someone would look at me and say, Dr. Robertson, we're not in D major anymore. I think we've gone down to C or C flat minor. I don't know. And so we have to really work on energizing the breath, right? And raising that palate, thinking, really being intentional, and not doing what with your brain?
Disconnecting
the brain from the
voice.
From the voice, yes. And how do we make those nice tall vowels within your oral or orifice inside of your, how do you, thank you for demonstrating, but I wanted you to use words.
You have to like disconnect your molars, like in the back, like there's like a place you can feel, and it's like it has to,
yeah. So we kind of disconnect our jaw from our skull, and if you are singing, I should make all of us do that. You should put your fingers right here, and then if you can, as I told my middle school kids, if you can drop your jaw, you can scratch your brain. Oh, and they all tried. Of course, I did it with these kids last year, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, I can scratch my brain." So if they're not disconnecting, then I know that we're not singing with a nice tall vowel. We also talk about the palate, the soft and the hard palate. We also talk about different resonators. Yes, resonators in our nasal cavities. We talk about deep breaths, and that our lungs are not in our chest and our clavicle, that our lungs are much lower than that. And we take nice deep breaths. And I also have students, and we did this in rehearsal yesterday for a warm-up, is that we start singing in a higher pitch, right? Using that falsetto and warming which way, up or down? Warming down. And some of the tenors and basses, ooh, nope, go up. Ooh, and feel that sensation, feel that suspension, feel that, I think singing is sensational, right? It's physical. I can tell them what to do all day long, but when they feel it in their bodies, I can refer that back. So what did that feel like when you're singing that particular pitch or that particular phrase? What did it feel like in your body? In rehearsal, what do I tell you to do a lot? Especially with the I should be glad. In order to create line, what do we do?
Movement of the body is movement of the sound, or like freedom of the body, freedom of sound.
Freedom on the body, freedom of sound. So we're moving our bodies, almost like Karate Kid, wax on, wax off kind of thing happening. And you're feeling this flow of the line, and you're feeling, I don't want to use the word tension, but you feel this flow that's taking place with the phrase, which means that the notes along with the lyrics, that they all are going somewhere. And music moves in what type of motion? Unmute yourself and talk back to me.
Forward.
Forward motion. And music never does what? It never flows back. It's like a river. Rivers don't flow backwards, they flow forward. And if you are stopping that flow, you can impede that flow. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of them. This is not choir rehearsal. I apologize to all of you that are watching. I just kind of got carried away a little bit about the flow of music. So I think it's important that students know that the music is moving forward, that you should always be thinking about the next phrase, the next note, the next line, and what happens when you come to a punctuation or you come to a breath mark. What is that telling us to do?
Breathe.
Well, yeah. What else? It's resetting your thinking as well, right? Because this next phrase has a different feel to it. It has a different expressive element that when I take that breath, now I'm thinking about the next phrase. What's done is done. I can't control what happened in the past. So I'm thinking ahead, right? Yeah, good. So a piece that we're recording tomorrow, and I promise is the last 2 slides. Last little example. This is Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I believe this was the last piece that we started learning as well, right? And this piece has a trio at the beginning. An SAT trio, which is soprano, alto, and tenor trio, but we didn't have any tenors who wanted to audition for it. So Emily and another graduate student are faux tenors for this. And you get to hear a little bit of it at the beginning. And I love this piece. And the students sing it well because it's kind of high energy. They get to move a little bit. And we're supposed to clap a little bit on here. I don't know if that's going to work well or not. We'll see tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So here is a rehearsal outside, and let me let me pivot back to this. You can tell when I'm very passionate about something, I get excited, I talk fast, and I use my hands, and so please forgive me. Our school was so concerned about continuing theater and music and the arts through this pandemic that they got us tents to rehearse outside, right? Phenomenal opportunity. So this is Rose Terrace, for those of you that are familiar with our campus, but this right here is what we call Rose Theater now. It's an outdoor theater. Students have already performed out here already, right? They did, I think, Midsummer Night's Dream outside, and they have audience members who are socially distanced. I'm doing my hand like this if you can see where I'm pointing to. Please, y'all, target to my head, not my heart. So we rehearsed out there a couple of times, and even the dean, like I may say, came out and observed us singing. It was very intense for me for a moment, but I'm very grateful. There's a little stage here, and student chairs, but students, we don't sit down in choir. So here is a little bit of Will the Circle Be Unbroken? This is a rehearsal. Again, I want to show progress in progress. And tomorrow, hopefully, will be our final recording project of this piece. So there are trio at the beginning, and then the choir will come in. Hope you can hear it. Let's see if here we go again with my mouse. Let's wait till they come up. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? It is in the Southern gospel tradition. So hopefully you will recognize this tune. Or if or maybe we'll just sing it we'll play it. Emily got nervous. Yeah.
The circle be unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting, if we try, Lord, if we try.
so that's Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And you can hear these hopefully once we get them mastered and our official recording of it, and we will post them on our YouTube channel combined with the video. So last but not least is our social media. You can find us on Facebook at Mary Baldwin University Choir. You can also follow us on Instagram at MBU Choirs, and our students submit pictures, videos. We have lots of I think our biggest supporter on our Facebook page is Emily's mom. She is our choir, out-of-state choir mom. She is always commenting. I think I've seen the Blewett's mom on there a couple times, and other students. And Valina Rose, who is an alum, she follows us on Instagram and Facebook, and she's always liking our stuff and commenting. So we really do appreciate all of you that follow us so far. We know that social media is where our young people live. And so we are using these platforms as opportunities to not only bring joy to people through song, but to also inform them about the happenings at Mary Baldwin. You can also go on social media and hashtag MBU Choir or MBU Family, and you will see all of the posts. I'm a social media person, so Emily knows that, and that I will post all the time on our social media to keep Mary Baldwin in the front of their minds. So we have, as soon as I started the Facebook page for choir and posted about it, all of my friends from across this country started following us and commenting, and they like our posts and our videos, and it's amazing. Sometimes we will go live on our Facebook so that our family and friends who are not here in Stanton or not locals can actually listen and follow. And I think the last performance had almost 5,000 views. I think we're up to almost 5,000 for our fall concert. So yeah, if you're on social media, please follow us. We would love to keep you updated. And if you are a choir member, I see Adrian, that means for me to stop talking. So if you are a choir member, hopefully you will let us know so we can keep in touch with you even more personally. I know Adrian has all types of information that she's going to share with you, but we would like to keep in touch with you, choir member to choir member. I think it would be an awesome opportunity. And I think you will like this as well. The hymn to Mary Baldwin will be recorded tomorrow as well, and we will post that so that you can sing along to your favorite MBU hymn. Yes, so I think that is all that I have for you today, and I hope that you have enjoyed our evening together. And if you have any questions, I guess Adrian will let us know. I know I saw President Fox on here. When I saw her pop on, I automatically got nervous. So I'm glad that she was able to join us. And so I want to personally thank Adrian and Amy for allowing us this space to come to you, to share with you what's happening at your dear alma mater. Yeah.
Well, Craig, thank you so much. And Tony, Emily, Logan, and Terry, we are so blessed to not only have you joining us tonight as we're wrapping up the semester, but that you have chosen to share your talents with the Mary Baldwin community. So thank you so much to you all for being here with us tonight. I will say, and we went through rehearsal with Dr. Robertson, and I had goosebumps because I forgot how wonderful and endearing and moving that music is, and how much I didn't really realize how much I had missed live performance until we were sitting down together. So truly, just from me to you very personally, a sincere thank you for bringing your talents to us tonight. It's so grateful. So I do know that we are at time. We advertised this to 8 o'clock, but what we're going to do is we're going to carry over a little bit. If you have to jump off, we want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening. You can look at the bottom of your screen. On the bottom right, you'll see a little red button that says leave, and you're welcome to head out. But if you would like to stick on with us, we would love to have you so that you can ask some questions of Dr. Robertson and our fabulous students here tonight. And hopefully you all have seen, just as questions and comments have been coming in throughout. I'm going to do one quick thing for those of us who are sticking around. On the bottom of your bar, you'll see an option that says reactions, and there's like a clap or a thumbs up. And I'm going to ask you, if you were a former Mary Baldwin University or college choir while you were a student here, to please check a reaction either as a clap or a thumbs up, and we'll check out the participants panel and see who joined us in that particular regard. So click the clap or the thumbs up if you were a former choir student with us.
I'm on there, but you can't see me. I'm on there.
Awesome, great.
Awesome. Oh.
Oh,
Wonderful. Well, I see lots of hands and claps coming up, so that's fantastic. So we'll toggle tonight right now to our Q&A portion. So the way that we'll facilitate this is, if you have a question for Dr. Robertson or for any of our students, feel free to pop that over into the chat room and we'll be monitoring that. Or you can click on the participants tab and there is an option for you to raise your hand and I will toggle to you. You can turn on your video now and unmute yourself when we call on you so that you can ask your question. And Liz Shoup, do you have one or something that you want to say up front? I just wanted to check in.
probably they're checking in with me because I'm one of the older observers, having been 50 years ago, and I know, and you all need to understand. See, this will make me cry because the choir is such a critical part of Mary Baldwin College University. And I was blessed to know the man who wrote the Mary Baldwin hymn. He was a treasure, and Dr. Robertson, you make me smile watching you, because the definite expectation for definitive words and completion and family and talking with one another. This has been wonderful for me. And the other thing, guys, we used to have to go to VMI to get the men. You know what I'm saying? We used to have to go down the street. Just saying. And of course, Davidson College at that point was all men, and we were all men, and so we would have get-togethers to sing, and it was wonderful. But to hear you all there, to know that you are there, warms my heart. I love it, and I'm so proud of our school. Dr. Robertson, I am so excited to know that you are there. And I'm only down in Lexington, so be careful. I may just show up at your door one day to talk, because I love my school and I am committed to the young people. As a career counselor, I am somebody who wants to empower young people to be all you can be. God bless you all. This has been such fun for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Liz. So we had a question come in from Kristen Barner, and she just says, you know, she really misses singing in Baldwin Charm. Are you all still doing Cherry Orchard? And if you are not sure what that is, I can ask Kristen to unmute and tell us a little bit more about what Cherry Orchard is.
No, we don't know. I don't know what not familiar with that piece, but please.
Sure.
Oh, hey, sorry.
We gotcha. Go for it.
And can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, great. I'm not showing you my face because I just had physical therapy today, so you don't get to see the sweat. Cherry Orchard. It's an old piece, and I was second alto for it, and so I can only tell you my part of it, which, and Anne Holland, you probably know it. Down in the old cherry orchard and under the old cherry tree. So anyway, I don't know. It's just an old sort of barbershop quartet style.
Is that is that one of the like traditions of Baldwin Charm?
From the 80s, yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure that score is probably still in the library somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
Who wrote it? Do you know who composed it?
I don't.
Okay, we can look it up.
Bob,
I will tell you, Kristen, that I love tradition.
Oh, okay.
I love tradition. So if we find that there is something at our school that is traditional, and you know, I told the students last year when we did the Lord bless you and keep you as our benediction, I want to do that every single performance. And we didn't get to do it this year because of COVID, but it's on the docket for the spring. And I think that because when students come back in 50 years, like Liz, we can say, let's all sing the Lord bless you and keep you, because we all know it. You know, it brings us together. So I think songs like you mentioned about the cherry orchard, we should definitely look that up and make sure that we continue some of those traditions that were started before we got here. I mean, yeah.
I am seeing there's a video of Frederick Rose down in the old cherry orchard on YouTube. It says it's for men, but you know, we didn't really
arrange it, right, Logan? Emily, we can arrange it.
Oh yeah, you can.
We'll listen to it.
Beautiful.
Now I will say this, Kristen, where do you live?
Charleston, South Carolina.
So if we put this on a program for the spring, you're gonna come up, right?
Yes.
Is that a promise?
It's I sure will try. Yes, sir.
And you should get all of your classmates to come and then serenade us with the 80s version of that. That would be amazing.
We would love to. We would love to.
I don't know.
Robertson,
I don't know about that.
I was going to say, to me, that sounds like something we need to consider incorporating into reunion and homecoming weekend moving forward. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
every time we have a gathering, I always email Dr. Robertson afterwards and say, and can you also help us out with this? So that's fun. Stay tuned for that. So it looks like Mary Ellen Durham, you've got your hand up, but you're both muted and your video is off. So try to see if you can unmute yourself on your end.
How's that?
Perfect.
Good. Well, I was going to say my maiden name when I was at Mary Baldwin was Killinger, and I'm the class of 62. I'm a slight bit older than some of you, but I had the honor and just the love to sing with Gordon Page in the choir.
Do you have any recordings of your performances?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think maybe we did. This was 1962, or 66, I'm sorry, 62 to 66. But it was one of my greatest joys of being at Baldwin was to be in the choir. And I love the idea of having a choir alumni reunion. And if you could put up with our old voices, Dr. Robertson, that would be such fun.
Well, we definitely, Adrian and Amy and I will get together and see how we can get in touch with you all and make that happen. As soon as everything clears up and we're able to meet together, I would be proud to stand in front of you and conduct.
We're so glad you're there. We're so glad you're there. And I just want to blow a kiss to Ann Hollingshead if I can. She has been like a second daughter kind of to me, a second Mary Baldwin daughter. My daughter went to Mary Baldwin too. So
wow. Great.
She was also my classmate too. So Mary Ellen, I'm sending you a virtual hug. I'm so glad to hear your voice.
Oh, me too, Annie. But this was wonderful. I hope that we'll be able to do this again. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate the support from all of you. And I know that we haven't met, but we are all, family now through Mary Baldwin. So
right.
Come to any performance that we have anytime. And if you want us to come when we're able to travel or come to your town, please shoot us an email. We love to travel, right, guys?
Great. Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. We appreciate that. And I just want to say, I so enjoyed as you all were playing the recordings tonight, to watch you students just close your eyes and embody the rehearsal. And I could see you, even though you were on mute, you were singing along to your part. Yeah. So that was just, you can see that the music moves you. And I think it's just absolutely wonderful. I want to just share with you just very quickly a few comments that have come in to make sure that you all have seen those. Susan Blackett just said, you all are such a delight. And this was wonderful. Love and blessings to you all as you continue to sing and represent her beloved and our beloved alma mater, Mary Baldwin. We've also had Kristen chimed in when you all were singing Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and just said it was gorgeous. And we do want to thank the donor who made the tenting on Rose Terrace possible, so that we can continue to have safe spaces to exercise the arts here at Mary Baldwin. And so Kristen lived in Rose Terrace as a junior and a senior, and I'm sure coming back, she would love to see that when she's able to do so. Gabby McCree was on our call. She happens to be our chair of the Board of Trustees, and she just shared that this was very inspiring to meet all of the students and you, Dr. Robertson, and you're giving us hope during this very challenging time. So music has a way of uniting and broadening us, and she loved her time in the MBC Choir back in the 80s. So she says, congratulations to you all for this wonderful work and fun. And so high praise there. We love Gabby, and we know that she loves music and all things Mary Baldwin. And then, of course, Dr. Fox is your #1 fan, chiming in at multiple times throughout the presentation, saying how wonderful the performances were that you all were at and how magical those evenings were. And just again says thank you to you all for your time with us. And so I want to close out and just ask one more time, is there any other questions for the folks who are still with us? You're welcome to raise your hand. Anne, I'll go to you. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I wrote to Dr. Robertson while one of the pieces was playing, and I said, truly my spirit has been lifted, because my office is right above where they have the practicing. And I have to tell you, Craig, and I'm going to just go out of turn to just call you Craig, but thank you. This has certainly lifted my spirit during this time, just seeing the students, hearing their voices. And last night, if you all could have heard the cheer and the clapping, and it was like a warm hug. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I have never met a man with so much energy and so much spirit. The students, when I see him with the students, I can't even tell you. It's a moving experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. It's, you know, I'm not going to be emotional about this, because I do get emotional, and I love what I do so much. And I would say I'm not the best at it. You know, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I just love it. And I love these students, and they know that. And I have high expectations, and sometimes they take my passion for being a little harsh. But when you hear people say that they're touched or moved by what you present, it should elevate the next performance, that you want to continue that type of feeling. And they don't know how much they have impacted my life. I know as the teacher, you're supposed to impact them, but they have impacted my life so much that the things that I've shared with them in my moments of despair and downtrodden, I would hear Emily's voice saying, "You're not alone, Dr. Robertson. You know, we're here for you too. You tell us all the time that, you know, you're here for us, but we're here for you." And I will tell you, and I'm very transparent, so I'm sorry to gross you out, but I had an outpatient procedure a couple of weeks ago, and Emily and another student drove me to my procedure, and then Tony came to pick me up for my procedure because I was under anesthesia. And I remember during the summer when I was not feeling my best, Logan and other students said, "Dr. Robertson, come on, we're going to go for a walk." And we walked down to Gypsy Hill Park, and we sat on my porch and we talked. And they don't know how much that has saved me. I'm single, I have no kids, no family here in this town, but they have become family to me. And I think from what I'm gathering tonight, that's just the Mary Baldwin way. So I thank you for starting that type of environment here, and they're continuing that. So I'm sorry.
A visual here going on, because you see the background on my house here. We have this hill in the back. I have a vision of you bringing the choir down. And let's, Amy, let's do a, I don't know, an alumni get together outdoors once we get to that weather again. And our house is not small. We got land, but the house is tiny. But we can open up and just, people would bring, the alums would come. It would be such fun to have you come, sing, have fun, but be a part also of the community. I would love, there are a lot of Mary Baldwin folks around this area. And you know that's true. And we go to the Roanoke and all of that. Lexington's sort of in the beginning. I'd love to have you all come and be on that hill and just sing whatever hits your heart, because it's easy to do. And music keeps us forward. Man, it keeps us moving. Bless you. I'm going to get off now because I can talk too much.
Well, we definitely should be in touch together, Liz, and let's make that happen.
I would love it. And we do have recordings of several of the Mary Baldwin Choir things with the hymn a couple of times and some other. I think that you all need to do the Randall Thompson Hallelujah.
We're working towards that level.
Pages of one word is a good challenge for everybody. You just hallelujah your way right on through. I think that's important. And the Misaluba is another thing that was wonderful as well. The African Misaluba, which was a communion thing. Okay, I'm getting off now. I love you all. You know I do. Bye.
Well, we love Liz. So on that note, we are indeed the Mary Baldwin University family. And so we thank all of you for being a part of this family with us. And again, just super big kudos to our students and to Dr. Robertson. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. And with that, it concludes our Fall Virtual Connection series. We hope you join us in December for our holiday socials. Thanks so much and have a great evening, everyone.
Good night.